Are you a millionaire? No, same. I'm not either. Well, and who the is buying all the properties around here because they're all over £1 million and I can't afford one?
Who else feels sad by what is happening to the UK?
We are going to show you how ridiculously expensive the house prices are in the UK.
They are out of control.
59, 59 and a half, 59 and a half. 81, I'm gonna bid it in 2, $3, 3, 4, 9, 4, 5, I'm gonna bid it in 66 here, I'm gonna bid it in 66 here, I'm gonna bid it in 7. 60 here, now 1, I'm gonna bid it half, to get 1 here, I'm gonna bid it 1, 50 here, I'm gonna bid it 2, 2, 62, but you get 2, half, I'm gonna bid it 2, and you get 50 here, I'm gonna bid it.
What's going on with UK charity shop prices? I just went to the one up my road. They were selling a used Primark hoodie for £20. That's double what it costs brand new.
This cost of living's done bollockal, man. Absolute shambles.
Let's go! Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time.
Saturday night, and I'm living the dream by ironing. What are you guys up to? Go on, make me jealous. So I've just popped on just to quickly have a little rant about house prices, particularly rental prices. So me and my son are moving in around 6 weeks time. So I've been looking at houses to move to, rented houses out of the city, just in the outskirts of the city, where I grew up, because I think it's better for schools, and I just prefer being out of the way a bit rather than in the thick of the town. Do you know what I mean? With like crazy parking issues and all kinds of problems. And I just think for when he gets older, I'd rather him just be out of the city, personally. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so house prices are insane. So this house I'm renting at the moment is a 2-bed house. It's not cheap. It's £1,150 a month, which is a lot. However, now I've been looking at prices. We're looking at a range in between £1,300 a month and £1,500 a month, just for a 2-bedroom house.
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that, like you saw from the thumbnail, prices across Britain have gone completely out of control. And it isn't just British people noticing anymore. Even foreigners are arriving here, looking at the prices and wondering what the bloody hell happened. You can see it everywhere. Property prices, rents, supermarket shopping, petrol, energy, restaurants, and even the little everyday things that used to be taken for granted have become noticeably more expensive. Take housing, for example. For younger people especially, buying a home can seem like an entirely different universe. You can work full-time, behave responsibly, save what you can, and still look at property prices and think, well, that's me buggered then. And renting isn't exactly a bargain either. In many parts of Britain, particularly around London and the southeast, a huge chunk of someone's income can disappear into rent before they've even bought a tin of beans. Then you walk into the supermarket thinking you'll just pick up a few essentials, and suddenly you're standing at the checkout, wondering whether you've accidentally bought the entire bloody shop. A couple of bags of groceries now cost enough to make you check whether there's a small house hidden underneath the carrier bags.
We've been back 2.5 weeks. It's expensive. And all we're seeing is people that are struggling day to day, working all hours, people that can't afford to retire. Does this sound like you? Keep listening. We are programmed to do what society expects. But that doesn't mean we have to follow those rules. There are other ways. And if you're ready to look at other ways, comment ready.
Here for your shopping, are you? That'll be £2.73. Would you like a bag with that? Here you go. A nice plastic bag. Got everything you need today? Great. Your total today will be £3.74. Would you like a bag? It's free. You know we've got self-checkouts now. You don't have to come to employees anymore. You got a loyalty card. It does make it a lot cheaper, but we do wipe all of your data and we take everything from you. Oh, did you want a bag? It'll be 50 pence now. You okay? You want me to scan your food for you? The self-service down there. I'm quite new on the job. I've been working here for 5 years. Your total today will be... AI, can you count together the amount, please? In total will be £135 and 2 pence. And would you like to round that up to £200 to donate to charity so we can write it off our taxes? No? Okay. You can't afford it. Well, I thought you would be able to because you didn't even get the non-organic vegetable oil. You didn't even get olive oil. You disgust me. Have you got Klarna where you can pay in us instalments?
Like, you go in Tesco now and won't even get a full bag of shopping. And you're looking at about 30 squids. 30 Great British pounds. Or not even a full bag of shopping. You go back like 6-7 years ago and you spend that sort of money, you'll come out with like 2.5. Like, if you're lucky, if you go to a little Aldi or Lidl, like maybe three, you know, half generous bags. That's why everyone just, like, you walk down the street, everyone just looks like they hate their life. Because you feel like you're essentially working for nothing. You know, you could be on less money back then and have more money than you do today. Absolute joke, man. Absolute craziness.
So explain this to me. When I was in Italy, and any other European country that I've been to, and I bought a coffee, and it's good coffee. Obviously the ones in Italy have been elite, to me, great coffee. I've been having really good cups of coffee, and I've been paying just under €2 a cup, right? So what's that, 170, something like that, in Great British pounds. I've come back here, I've gone out for a coffee, it was £4.60 for a latte. What the hell is with the markup on coffee in this country? I don't understand. You can go anywhere else in the world and get a really bloody good cup of coffee for literally no money. You come back to the UK and you're screwed into the ground because you want a coffee. And it's not even really good coffee. I'm not talking, I didn't go to like a roastery, you know, have an amazing coffee. This was just a bulk standard average coffee. Nearly £5 when I've been in Italy drinking arguably the world's best coffee, or, you know, Colombian, whatever, for less than £2. So I don't understand the price in here. What's going on?
It used to be that I'd go into this shop and buy a dead man's entire spring capsule wardrobe for 20p, and now I'm getting credit checked to buy a Primark zip job. Slash the prices and we'll get back to supporting good causes.
I thought a millionaire was a special thing. Clearly not. Clearly not. Clearly everyone's got £1 million because as soon as the houses are put on the market, they're gone. So who the fuck is buying them? Who's buying them? Or a 3-bedroom shoebox, £1 million, I'll take it. Who? Because it's not me. It's not any of my friends. None of my friends have £1 million. So who the fuck is buying them? Being a millionaire used to be the thing that people did on the lottery. There's like 3 of them in the whole country. Not just John and Jill walking down the road. Oh, look at that house. That's a cute little house, isn't it? Oh, £1 million? Yeah, I'll buy it. Oh, no garden? Don't worry about it. Who? Who's buying them? Sorry. I feel better now, though. On a serious note, though, who's fucking buying them?
For the amount of money you are spending, the amount of space that you are getting is ridiculously small. Let us show you.
Right, so these are the houses here. Bear in mind, that's not one house, that's half a house. So you are sharing a house with someone else, okay? And every other house around here, they are called semi-detached houses. They range between £600,000 to £750,000, which in dollars is $800,000 to $1 million.
Which is a crazy amount of money for the amount of space you're getting, the amount of garden you get, which is also minuscule.
1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. That is ridiculous. And also, some of you might say it's close to London, that's the reason why. I don't care if it's close to London or close to whatever.
What is going on?
Doesn't make sense.
So expensive. What's going on in the world, man? Give us some more space.
It's honestly a joke, and I just don't know how anyone's meant to afford that these days.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, people, we are fucking having our pants pulled down in this country, aren't we? I literally just popped into B&Q. Just need a few bits and bobs. Is it fucking 2 flexi tubs, $6.99 each. Microfiber cloths, 4. Fucking blue roll, £4. Glass and mirror spray, £4.50. A hose lock, threaded tap connector as a backup because we keep fucking losing them. £5.70. How the fucking hell is that little piece of shit £5.70? Total £30.20. Fucking taking the piss, that is, man. That is taking the fucking piss. That, before COVID, would have cost... That would have cost about 12 quid total, that would have. We are having our pants pulled down in this country. It's a fucking joke.
Here's my rant for the day. Just been shopping. Labour are telling us we're better off under Labour. 50 quid for a few items for shopping. Everything's going up. I spotted loads of things from last week that have now gone up. How can that be better off under Labour? Shopping's getting more expensive. Energy bills are going up. I can't believe 50 quid for a few items. That is absolutely shocking. It's just madness. Things have to change. People cannot survive when the cost of shopping's going through the roof. It's absolutely madness. And with rumours of tax going up, people are going to be worse off. They promised us the world and they've delivered nothing. The cost of living needs to come down, and it needs to come down now. Shocking.
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now? I've had numerous people tell me that Asda has rocketed the prices again. Let's go in and take a look. Here we go. They're not rolling them back. Looks like they're rolling them forward. Well, here's a start. These used to be £1. These basic little microwave meals are now £2.20. Sorted out. Over £4 now on the After Eight. Small box as well, it ain't even big. Taking the piss. They've jumped up massively. Standard little pouch, Galaxy Minstrels, £3. Someone wear a mask. There's your can of Dove deodorant now, antiperspirant, £5.18. Smashing it now there. Little box of 10 fish fingers, £4.92. That is taking the piss. They used to be £1 not so long ago, £1.50 max. Burgers are about as thick as a piece of paper, £3.23. Oh dear. Your 4 jacket potatoes, McCain still making an up and coming price rise at £4.04. Just buy yourself a pack of potatoes for £1. Do them yourself. So here we go, we're leaving. The one that did me the most there was the can of Dove deodorant, £5.18. It's getting out of control. Asda, sorted out.
You to say you've not paid your TV licence.
But I don't need a TV licence.
Yes, you do. You've got a TV.
Well, yes, I have a TV, but I don't watch live or anything like that.
It don't matter. You got BBC on your TV.
Well, yeah, but I don't watch it. I watch Netflix. I watch YouTube, Amazon.
You still have to pay your TV licence, and you have to let me in the showroom.
I can't. I'm not going to let you in my house just to see that. I don't need to pay it. All I do is watch Netflix, YouTube, and Amazon. That doesn't mean I have to pay it.
See on your TV.
You're on my property, and I need you to leave.
I need to put this through your letterbox.
I'm not going to pay it.
I'm going to put this through your letterbox.
You need to get off my property.
Well, you're watching the government's property.
Well, this is my house.
This is your house, and you're watching BBC in your house.
I'm not watching BBC. Yes, I have it on there. Doesn't mean I'm watching it. Therefore, I don't have to pay a TV licence for something I'm not watching.
If you've got BBC on your TV, you need to pay your licence.
But I'm not watching it.
It doesn't matter. You've got BBC.
I don't see the point of me paying for it.
I'm afraid it's the law. I'm going to post this to you.
If wages had kept up with Freddo inflation, minimum wage would now be £17.50 an hour. So minimum wage has gone up, right? Which leaves the question of why so many of us are feeling poorer. Let me explain with a Freddo. People say wages are rising, so you should feel richer. But here's the truth. Wage growth is a lie if your money buys less. And nothing shows that better than the most scientific economic measure in Britain, the Freddo. In 2005, the minimum wage was £5.05 per hour. A Freddo was just 10p. So 1 hour of work got you 50 Freddos. In 2025, the minimum wage is £12.21p an hour, which sounds better, right? But one Freddo now costs 35p. So 1 hour of work gets you just 34 Freddo. Wages are up 142%, but Freddos are up 250%. So even with a higher income, you've got less buying power. And here's the kicker. If wages had kept up with Freddo inflation, minimum wage would now be £17.50 an hour. That's £5 more than what you're actually earning. So next time the government tells you everything's fine because wages are up, ask how many Freddos can you buy now versus 2005? What's the real cost of living? Does this feel like progress to you? Drop a comment. How many Freddos should the minimum wage buy in 2025? Agree or disagree? Let's hear it.
Would you pay £6 for these two chocolate eclairs? I saw these in a garage yesterday when I was doing some shopping for a friend. Now, personally, I think this is extortionate, and I know the cost of living in the UK is absolutely crazy at the moment, and many people are struggling. But guys, do not fall into this trap, okay? These are luxury items, they are not essentials. Now, I know it's frustrating when you work hard all week. Yes, you should be able to treat yourself to the odd luxury, a takeaway, you know, a night out, and I fully understand that. But the more you keep paying these overinflated costs, the more they will keep them at this price. Here's another example. This steak here, £59 a kilo. Now, it's not £59 for the steak, obviously. I think the actual steak itself was about £8. But £59 for a kilo of steak, you know. Again, a ribeye steak, £12.75. I mean, I'm sure about 2 years ago, these were about £6, £7, £8, an absolute push. But guys, these are not essential items, okay? The more you keep funding the people selling these like extortionate, you know, overinflated prices, the more they will keep them at this price, and the more they're going to keep ripping people off. Now, I know shopping is expensive and it does cost a lot, but to me, steak and chocolate eclairs are not essential items, okay? If you're really struggling, the best thing to do, you know, is get cheaper food. You can get much cheaper cuts of meat. You know, you don't have to buy steak. You don't have to buy fancy cream cakes. You know, you can get like chicken breasts, or, you know, you could get like cheaper cuts of meat. Also with the cakes, you know, you could buy, like going to Aldi, get 2 of their eclairs for about, you know, £1.50. You know, just please do not fall into this consumerism trap, because this is what they want. They want you to spend, and then they'll keep the price, you know, keep the prices high, and they will never come down. Guys, if you are struggling, please, you know, look at cheaper options, but, you know, you've got to make sacrifices. If you're really struggling, then there's some things, you know, you do have to sacrifice and you do have to go without. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Are you really struggling, or have you found cheaper alternatives? Or do you think it's now just rip off Britain? Let me know.
We are in such a situation that we now have supermarkets selling insects to support and help their customers with cost of living crisis. Aldi have just announced that they will be selling insects to help with the cost of living crisis, so that their customers can afford to buy nutritious meal to survive. Are we living in a third world country, or are we living in a Western society and so-called top 5 countries in the world? We are gonna be fed insects so that we can afford a nutritious meal, because cost is spiraling out of control. We can't afford to eat, and we've got no money to put a decent meal on the table. But we are living in United Kingdom. Am I hearing this correctly, people? Can you tell me, am I hearing this correctly or not? We in the UK are now having to potentially eat insects to survive, to get nutrition, because we can't afford food. Was it not supposed to get better rather than worse? This is absolutely craziness what's going on in the UK. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. See you on the next one.
I do not want to hear anybody moan about the price of food. I have just literally been robbed blind. Shut that door and freaking lock the door. I have just done 4 days food shop. Yes, I have a lot of children, but 4 days food shop. Asda, £172. Now, it was going so well. And yes, I've got nice things like salmon, okay. Well, it is what it is and it's going to be expensive. I get it. £172 later for 4 days food. Someone's going to have to give. Someone's going to have to give. And I swear to God, if Marshy says, I don't want to eat that mushroom, that's going to be my look at him across the table. And he's just going to know, I think I need to eat that mushroom. Woo! It was going so well. I got to like £68 and I put quite a lot in. I was thinking, yeah, this is good. This is good. Don't get me wrong. I've got smelly things. I've got Coke. I've got like things that bump the price up, okay? But wow, that's a lot of money for 4 days, right? Having said that, I do generally spend about £45 a day. At one point it was 35, but it did creep up to about 45. So to be fair, it's not too bad, but yeah, I just thought, do you know what? Instead of keep coming every day, wasting my time, let me just smash out 4 days. It's done. It's in the fridge. Yeah, £172, guys. Isn't that crazy nowadays? Anyway, I'm going to go home and you know the joke as well, when you put it in the fridge, it like literally covers one shelf. One shelf, and you're like, oh, I have been food shopping, kids. One shelf. Anyway, guys, hope whatever you're doing today, you're having a great day, because I mean, can't even earn £172 in bloody day, love. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody listen up. This is going to affect you. If you live in England and you shop in a supermarket, which is most of us, you're going to be affected by this. Now, the government are apparently rolling out these new digital price tags inside of supermarkets, meaning that when you're walking in the supermarket, looking at the prices of the items along the shelves, they are now going to be digital. Okay, and they are going to be powered by AI. And what that means for us is that if you run to the supermarket during peak times, i.e. in the morning when you might need to grab like a little milk or bread or something like that, the prices are going to go up, okay? They're going to charge you more. It's going to be broad daylight robbery, okay? As if they're not robbing us already. As if it's not Brock Pocket season already. Okay, they want to rob us more. Yes, they do. It also means that during times when they deem it to be less of a peak time, they are going to be lowering the prices, which is all well and good. But I don't understand how they're allowed to do this. Like, I just don't understand how they're allowed to do this. Like, I'm at the point at the moment where I'm about to go and make some friends with the crackheads down the road, because I forever see them with meat and groceries that they picked up. Okay, I'm not saying how, but they picked up. Do you understand? And at this point, I need some assistance. My mum told me not to speak to strangers, but she never told me not to make business relationships. Everybody's lost it. Now, one of the first places to be rolling this out should be Waitrose, according to the news. So I'd like to see how this goes. I really would like to see how this goes. And another thing is that I've done a little bit of research on this, and I've seen that in other countries, they actually have these electronic price tags on clothes, okay? In clothing stores. So I'm assuming that means they're in the shoe stores as well. So what you're trying to tell me is that I can go into JD in the morning and pick up a pair of trainers, and they're already crazy telling me that they're £140, okay? But what you're telling me now is that in the morning time, I could go and pick up the same trainer, and you're going to now tell me £200. At that point, I'm just going to throw the trainer at one of the workers' heads. Because what do you mean? What kind of insult? What kind of insult is this? At this point, I'm about to rob the grandma next door for her shoes. Because everybody's lost it.
I read the news so that you don't have to. You know, when you check the price, then you check again 10 minutes later and suddenly it's gone up. Yeah, that's not random. AI is watching you. So as you can see, the headline says that the Bank of England survey finds UK business to increase use of dynamic pricing. So at the moment, right now, 1 in 5 companies use algorithms to set the prices. In a year, That's going to be almost 1 in 3, which means that prices won't just change, they'll change constantly based on you. Dynamic pricing, what is it? Because it sounds cute, doesn't it? Well, is it though? It's basically this: prices that change depending on demand, time, competition, and sometimes you. You've already seen this before, even if you think you haven't. Think about flights, hotels, and the key one, Uber surge pricing. But now it's coming to everything. Right now, most shops change prices every few weeks or months, but with things like digital shelf labels, prices can change multiple times a day. So that £3 meal deal, at lunchtime, maybe it's going to be £3.20, or after 9 p.m, maybe £2.80. Perhaps when it's raining and everyone's stressed, they'll bump it up to £3.50 just to make you a little bit more miserable. And this is where it gets kind of mad, because companies are actually moving towards something called personalized pricing. So this would be based on your location, your spending habits, loyalty cards, even how desperate you look to buy something. You could pay more than the person standing right next to you, the exact same thing. And so we see the Bank of England calling this out, and they're getting a little bit stressed, and we're thinking, oh my God, they care about us. They care that we're paying too much. No, they don't care. They care that they use prices to track inflation, the basket of prices. But if prices are constantly changing and everyone is paying different prices, then what even is the real price anymore? Basically, inflation becomes personal. The Bank of England also said something very interesting. They said that even if average prices don't go up, if prices are constantly moving, people will feel like everything is getting more expensive. This would change behavior and could actually drive inflation anyway. And this is also a sign of transparency disappearing, because before you can walk into a shop and that's the price. Now prices are becoming fluid, personal, almost invisible. You're basically negotiating with an algorithm and you don't even know it. And this isn't something just from the future. It's already very normalized in travel, and now it's moving into retail, into fuel, into food. So your weekly shop might start behaving like airline tickets. So next time you see a price jump when you're thinking about buying something, just remember, maybe it isn't the market moving, maybe the algorithm decided that you're just willing to pay more, which is horrifying.
Money is the root of all evil. Follow the money. It's all about the money. We've all heard the phrases, but is it true? Is it genuinely true that everything always is about the money? I mean, if you follow the money, you'll get the answers you're looking for. We look at all the problems going on in this country, in the UK at the moment, and we wonder, well, why are the government doing that? Why are the authorities doing that? Why are all the regulatory bodies allowing that? Why do private enterprise and private businesses do that? And maybe it really genuinely is as simple as saying it's all about the money. Look at any of the major problems happening in this country, and maybe you can just take it back to the root of all evil, money. Let's look at the one that occupies people's attention most at the moment, immigration, both legal and illegal immigration. It's a massive, massive, massive money generator. The first thing you need to understand is the difference between turnover and profit, and the way companies operate, but also the way the government operates. For them, GDP, gross domestic product, seems to be the great god, and therefore a bigger population equals bigger GDP, or bigger turnover, to put it in simple terms. Doesn't matter that it costs money to them, doesn't matter that actually profits or the healthy state of the economy are going down, as long as the overall size, the overall turnover goes up. And population growth, immigration, equals turnover, equals growth in GDP. It's an absolute fact. But then you break it down and just look at the sort of money involved. Let's look at illegal immigration first of all. Look at all the money that gets spent on that and where that money goes. A lot of it goes into private businesses that are making an absolute fortune from that illegal immigration. These people have to be transported, so that's transport companies. They all get given mobile phones, so that's technology companies. They all get given clothing, that's textile and retail companies. They have to be fed, so that's people within the catering/food industry. They have to be housed and homed, so that's houses, HMOs, building developers, hotel operators, etc., etc. They all get provided with legal services, so that's the legal sector and the legal industry and lawyers all earning a fortune. What about the medical sector? Well, they all get to see GPs, they all get to see the NHS, so that's increased budgets for those organisations. And that's just the illegal immigrants, the 200 or so thousand that we've had arrive in the last 6-7 years. But then if you look at legal immigration, it's exactly the same thing. All those people that apply for work permits and then come across to the UK all go through legal services, go through legal processes to get those visas issued, have to jump through a whole load of hoops, have to pay for the privilege of doing so. Hang on, I've lost my dog. He's back, he's coming. Then they have to be housed. So again, that's either private sector housing, rental housing, or extra housing that's going to get bought at some point if they start to earn any money. Again, they all access health services or access education services. Some of them might access private school services. They all use the roads, they all spend money in shops, they all spend money in retail. So the fact that the population in this country has grown by 10, 12 million people over the course of the last 25 years means that the amount of expenditure, the amount of money floating around in the economy has gone through the roof. That doesn't mean that it pays for itself. That doesn't mean that it's cost effective. It doesn't mean that there's profit. There's profit for some people, some of the companies that are providing these services, but as an overall country, it's costing us more than we're spending, but nobody cares because the turnover has gone up, the turnover's gone through the roof. Look at the university sector. Universities, I think, charge something like £30,000 to £33,000 course fees for foreign students. I think some of them are lower, some of them are 20, but it's certainly more than double what it is for UK students. And when those international students come across, some of them, a lot of them, bring family members as well. So they're paying exorbitant course fees. The universities then have got a lot more money and budget to go and spend, to go and hire extra professors, buy nice spanking new equipment, etc. All of those people have to be housed. So the private companies, generally private companies that provide all of the accommodation, the student union organisations and the university accommodation organisations all make an absolute fortune. All the local shops make more money because there's more people spending money in those shops. The whole thing is just a money merry-go-round. The money goes round and round and round. But much like many of the big tech companies, people like Facebook and Google and a lot of those companies, for the first 10, 20 years of their existence, they made losses every single year. But because their turnover was going up and up and up and up, the markets valued them on their turnover rather than on their profit. Is that what's happening in this country? Is that why nobody wants to shut off the tap? Is that why nobody wants to stop immigration? Because all it does is it pushes the numbers up and up and up. And clever, cunning politicians can point at that, can point at the growing GDP, can point at, oh, it's got a growing economy, our economy's got bigger. It might have done. But GDP per head, wealth per head, has fallen every single year in this country for many, many years now. So whilst the overall turnover is going up, all of you, on average, are getting poorer. That's how the system works. So maybe that is the answer to your questions. Why is this happening? It's happening because of the money. It's happening because of a turnover. It's happening because lots of people within the chain are all getting rich. Serco are the big government provider firm. They provide so many different services to the government. So, for example, again, with illegal immigration, they provide all the security. They provide a lot of the accommodation. They have contracts to provide a lot of the food and the ancillary services. So Serco would be devastated if immigration was brought to a dead halt straight away. That's one cog in the wheel, if you like. And there are thousands of other companies. There's a guy, I forget the guy's name, I think it might be Simon King. They call him the HMO and accommodation billionaire. He's made himself a billionaire in the last decade on the strength of providing accommodation services to the government for migrants. Does he want it turned off? Of course he doesn't want it turned off. So the answer might be as simple as follow the money. The answer might be as simple as, now we're getting rich, we're not stopping this. And you say, well, that's not necessarily government ministers. But a lot of these government ministers have contacts in all of these businesses. We all know that these contracts get handed out to mates, mates of mates, people who know each other, people that frequent gentlemen's clubs, people that went to the same universities. So you can bet your bottom dollar that the brown envelope brigade, the backhand deal brigade, are all doing very well out of this. Follow the money. It's always about the money. And apologies for those of you that don't like me wearing a vest when I'm doing these videos. It's 9:30 in the morning and my car temperature gauge was already saying 30 degrees. It's due to be 36 to 38 down here today, so I'm going to wear whatever I want. Have a good day.
What in the name of cost of living crisis is going on here? Right, okay, let's do a food shop. So I've done a top-up food shop, and honestly, I could not believe how much it all costs. I've got no meat or anything. Let's get to it. So I've got 12 pombes. I've got a Vimto. I've got a squash. I've got 2 large milks. Another Vimto. I've got a nice fresh sunny days to wash our holiday clothes in. I've gone and got myself a juice. I have drunk too much of it, don't worry about it. We'll worry about the problems later. I've got some Coke. Lettuce. Let me turn you a little bit off, make it easier for you. I've got 2 blueberries for breakfast this morning for the children. 2 oranges, packs of oranges. We are a big family, don't forget. 2 beef because I'm anemic and I have to keep trying to eat iron. 2 cantaloupe melons, similar reason. And the children love it. 2 cucumbers for 1 dinner. That's 1 dinner, guys. Some tuna because my children are loving tuna at the moment. Tomatoes for a salad. Breakfast this morning, I've got my children some chocolate pancakes with the blueberries. They're loving the pancakes at the moment. Last time they had the fruit and lemon ones, but I've gone and got them the chocolate ones. 2 garlics for dinners. That's the receipt, I'll tell you that in a minute. Another tomatoes for 1 dinner. Biscuits. We are ramming through the biscuits. My kids are slam dunking the snacks. I've got cookies and cream, which is basically like Oreos, like a cheaper version. Thank you. Party rings, 2 packs. More of the Oreos. 4 Barney Bears, which have only got inconveniently 5 in them, and I've got 6 children, so I've had to get an extra pack to. Some gold bars because they're absolutely slam dunking those at the moment as well. 2 packs of cereal because sometimes they decide that they want cereal. 2 bread because they're slam dunking through sandwiches at lunch. Walkers, slam dunking, like that's a clear slam dunk. Finito. Ooh. Right, okay. I've got crumpets because sometimes they decide just before bed that they're still hungry. Lord.
The really interesting thing is that people who come to Britain from abroad notice it too. You sometimes hear foreigners saying that Britain is expensive compared with what they expected, particularly when it comes to housing, food, and everyday living costs. And that's quite revealing because they're looking at Britain with fresh eyes. They haven't necessarily grown accustomed to every price increase over the years. They arrive and think, good grief, that's expensive. Meanwhile, those of us who've lived here for decades have slowly become conditioned to it. Something goes up by 10 pence. We complain. Something else goes up by 50 pence. We sigh. Then something costs twice what it used to, and we simply say, well, that's modern life, isn't it? No, perhaps it bloody well shouldn't be. That's the danger of gradual increases. You don't necessarily notice the transformation happening in front of you because it happens one little price rise at a time. But stand back and look at Britain now compared with 20 or 30 years ago, and the difference can be astonishing. The problem isn't simply that Britain has become more expensive. It's that people's incomes haven't necessarily increased enough to compensate for everything they now have to pay. That's when the squeeze really starts. You can earn more money on paper and still feel poorer because housing, food, transport, energy, and other essentials have consumed the increase. And what happens then? People put off buying homes. They delay starting families. They save less. They travel less. They go out less. They stop treating themselves. The economy might keep moving, but ordinary people's lives gradually become smaller. We're not necessarily buying less because we've suddenly become miserly. Sometimes we're buying less because our wallets have developed survival instincts. And this is why I think the situation deserves serious attention. You shouldn't need to be wealthy to afford a reasonably comfortable life in Britain. You shouldn't need a six-figure salary to rent somewhere decent, buy proper food, and occasionally enjoy yourself. And you certainly shouldn't have young people working full-time while wondering whether they'll ever be able to afford the sort of home their parents took for granted. Britain is still a wealthy country by global standards, of course, but national wealth doesn't mean every household feels wealthy. You can have a successful economy on paper while ordinary people are standing in supermarkets counting the cost of putting dinner on the table. That's the bit politicians, businesses, and commentators sometimes forget. People don't live on economic statistics. They live on wages, they live in houses, they buy food, they pay bills, and they look at what's left in the bank at the end of the month. When even the foreigners are looking at Britain and saying, "Blimey, that's expensive," perhaps it's time we stopped pretending nobody has noticed, because everyone is noticing. The young, the old, working families, renters, homeowners, and people who've come here from other countries and are seeing the cost of Britain for the first time. The question isn't whether Britain is expensive anymore. The question is how expensive ordinary life can become before ordinary people simply can't afford it. Cheerio. And remember, if Britain keeps getting more expensive at this rate, we'll soon need a mortgage just to afford the bloody supermarket trolley.